mentioned that I was kind of thinking about doing a review for Fangirl. A lot of you guys were really excited and you all asked for me to do it, so I figured might as well do it. I just want to first and foremost put a disclaimer out there that these are just my personal opinions. This doesn't mean that it's not a book for you. I would still check it out just so you have your own opinion on it. And this necklace looks kind of weird with the sun shining on it, but whatever. And I might be a little harsh, but I really do kind of overanalyze my books. I just found it to be a little misleading just because it's very highly advertised on here as like a really relatable fan fiction type of book. And like I said in my booktubeathon wrap-up, I don't think that it's at all accurate to fan fiction nerds and, you know, internet geeks and stuff like that. I don't think it is at all, just gonna be honest. I think if you take it as a contemporary coming-of-age novel, then it is really good. And it's a good YA, like, contemporary read. It's, like, cutesy and fun and quick, so that's a plus. But, yeah, overall, I really wasn't impressed like everybody else was. I'm gonna start with the one thing that's kind of in my head the most about this book, and it's how the author decided to mention Harry Potter. That drove me insane. Simon Snow in the book is supposed to be the equivalent of Harry Potter. Then she mentions Harry Potter out of the blue in just one quick sentence, and you're just like, what the f***? What? Why would you do that? That kind of ruins everything. And I thought it was a great idea for her to do like her version of Harry Potter. So for her to mention Harry Potter, it was just so pointless and unnecessary, and it just really ruined it for me. So there was that. It kind of took me out of the book and into reality because I had that what the hell moment. So it like distracted me from being into it, if you know what I mean. Okay, I'm gonna try not to have spoilers. It's not like you can really spoil this anyway because, I mean, there's not really a plot to it, which is one of my issues. Was it was good for like a quick read, like I said, something cutesy, but just kind of pointless since the character never really progressed. Okay, so probably one of my favorite characters was her dad. I thought that he was just so cute and quirky, and I really just loved him. Levi was also great, and there were some parts where he really showed that he's quite a feminist, so I thought that was great to have a guy in a novel that's YA that's a feminist. So in the beginning of each chapter, she also included an excerpt from the Simon Snow books as well as from her personal fan fiction, and I just thought it was really irrelevant to the book. I didn't think it was necessary. I didn't really add anything to it. It was kind of annoying because you were brought in the middle of it, so you didn't really know exactly what was going on. I really also, this is going to be kind of weird to talk about, but I felt like she was trying way too hard to have these like little racial remarks, and it was borderline racist, and it was just very forced. It was like a very pretentious white kind of thing. And I'm just saying this from what I've noticed, okay, because she had to mention how the twins were listening to, how they like listening to rap, and how they had a Kanye dance party, and how they lived in a Mexican area, so they really liked eating tacos, and they kind of used the Spanish language as kind of a little joke. And it just seemed like she was really trying to push that a little too hard. Like, cool, you're white, but you listen to rap and you like tacos. I don't know, it just seemed really irrelevant to the story again. If the character hadn't come across as such a judgmental bitch, the main character, Kath, then I wouldn't take it this way, but because she really was in the story so self-centered to me and like really narcissistic, the whole little racial things that she added in there were just rubbing me the wrong way. So I don't know if that's just me, but that really, I didn't like that. And the way she describes fashion just seemed pretty outdated for how modern this is supposed to be, and I don't know how to explain it, but just something about the book I didn't like. Like I mentioned, the dialogue is great. Rainbow is really great with dialogue. I think that she really grips you into the story. Even if it's about nothing, she could grip you in it because the way she has the characters interacting is beautiful and it's really well done. And I'm not saying she's not a good writer, because she is. There was a review on Goodreads that was really accurate to my thoughts on it, so I'm going to try to look through it and see if I can mention anything that she mentioned. This is one of the perfect like similes that someone wrote on Goodreads, and it's that they felt like the book represented online fandom in the way that Big Bang Theory represents math geeks and engineers. Okay, I can't for the life of me say this word again, ESL, I'm sorry, but it caricaturizes and mocks fangirls and boys for the enjoyment of the reader and not much more. It does nothing to dispel the myths of the laughable, socially inept fanboy/girl, and that's just a damned shame. First, the first 20% of the book focused lightly on the fandom, and then the book kind of forgot about it with the exception of Simon Snow excerpts, which were absolutely pointless to the story as a whole. The thing about it is, when you're into fanfiction, you're usually not into just one, and if you are into just one, then you're part of the community, you're part of the threads, you're on Tumblr, you're active. She was literally only writing fanfiction for her thousands of readers that she kept talking about, but she wasn't talking about it with anyone else. She was just writing the fan fiction, but she wasn't talking about any of these things with people other than her sister, and I found that just really not accurate. And she wasn't even an introvert or shy like I mentioned in my other video. She was just a straight up like neurotic, judgmental person, and it really rubbed me the wrong way as someone who was into fanfiction, who is kind of a nerd, because that's not how we should be portrayed. And I feel like it just showed that the author maybe didn't have as much experience in that as she wanted to think she did. She just came off as like super socially incompetent, and if there's one thing I know about nerds or our community, it's that we really do learn to adapt, and we might be shy, but the book just kind of perpetuates those shitty beliefs that fangirls are just fucking morons that don't know how to talk to people, and that's not true at all. And then I also thought that the writing was trying a little too hard at times to be all quirky and cute, and I couldn't find specific excerpts of it until I went online, and then I did, and it was gave me some examples. So let me just give you some, because I just thought they were kind of ridiculous. His eyes were set so deep it made everything he said more intense. His mouth was small but bowed like a doll's. She wondered if he had trouble opening it wide enough to eat apples. I mean, I'm all for descriptive narrative, but what? He was wearing a thick navy blue turtleneck sweater that made him look like he was serving on a Soviet battleship. Please ignore the sound outside my window. She heard the very beginning of a smile in his voice, a fetal smile, and it very nearly killed her. Okay, why wouldn't you just say fatal? Inside, her internal organs were grinding themselves into nervous pulp. Her intestines were gone, her kidneys were disintegrating, her stomach was wringing itself out, yanking on her trachea. So overall, I think that when you look at the relationships between the characters, and you look at the dialogue, and you look at this as more of a coming-of-age novel, then it is really great. It's a quick, cutesy read, like I said, but to have a title as Fangirl and try to, you know, pass it off as something that's about fanfiction is completely not correct and totally inaccurate, and just a little insulting to people who are actually into fanfiction because of the way that she made the characters seem. So people who are saying that they can really relate to this book and stuff like that, it just makes me question if they actually were into any of this, or if they just related to it because maybe little things. To me, certain parts of it were relatable, like with the whole Gilmore Girls thing. I love Gilmore Girls. Chipotle, little tiny details like that. Of course, being in college, just remembering those first nerves, and see how they find that relatable, but not the fan fiction aspect of it, to be honest, just to be realistic. Well, I didn't hate it, I just feel like I wouldn't, if, like, I think I rated it 3 out of 5 or 2.5 out of 5 stars because of how it's advertised and how they made it out to be. And even as a coming-of-age novel, which I think it is pretty good, I don't think it's great because of the fact that the character didn't seem to have any kind of change happen by the end of the book. And I mean, of course, some, but not much. And it just didn't feel like there was that big of a shift, and I feel like the ending could have just been a little better. I felt like she just kind of didn't really have to try to get things her way. They just happened her way by luck because she didn't do much to make them happen, if that makes any sense. And she just annoyed me. I don't know, the whole thing just kind of annoyed me, and I couldn't stop being annoyed by little things. And I had a ton of other notes on it, but I can't find them, so I hope this wasn't a terrible review, but it's my first one, so I am planning to do some more. Hopefully the next one will be a little more positive. I have a lot more books that I've been actually really loving, and this just wasn't one of them, to be honest. I've seen a lot of glowing reviews around YouTube, none that were, you know, my thoughts on this, so I figured I would put my own out there, even though it's kind of been said and done. no one that I've watched so far said the things I did, because all they said was that they really loved it. I just feel like I don't agree, so I wanted to share that with you guys, and it's not trying to insult anybody's opinion. I completely respect it if you like the book, and I'm sure you have your own reasons, and I don't think you're wrong, but this is a subjective matter if you like a certain type of literature. And like I said, I did and I didn't, because it just depends on how you view the whole plot of the book, if there even really is a plot. If you see it as coming of age, or if you see it as a fan fiction writing. I feel like I just really should have done this review at a different time, because I'm so exhausted. I can't make sense of any of my words right now. I'm not gonna give up on the author. I don't think that this was like a horrible book or anything, and I still really enjoyed her writing, so I think I'm gonna enjoy her other books. I picked up a couple of her adult books, Attachments and Landline, and then I also have Eleanor and Park that I haven't read yet. So I think those are all her books, and I'm just gonna keep trying. So if you did like it, or if maybe you agree with some of my points for why I didn't, go ahead and leave me a comment below letting me know why. I love talking to you guys about this kind of stuff. Hopefully this was okay. Love you guys. Bye.